good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is when you're watching this. Thank you for taking the time to watch and to listen to me. Today, I'm going to be talking about Loser's Queue. Is it real? And, what are my experiences in Loser's Queue and how I've been reacting to Loser's Queue and how I'd like to react going forward. This is my second time recording this because OBS decided not to record my microphone the last take, but here we are this time. So yesterday was a Saturday, and I clarify that it's a Saturday to illustrate that it was weekend's queue, which normally every weekend, you get the wagies who normally don't really play League of Legends, and maybe they have some old accounts, and they just log on every once in a while to, queue up a couple games, and they fucking suck, basically. But anyways, so yesterday I decided to first time Udyr in a game of League of Legends ranked, and I did pretty well, 11-5. I got kind of carried, and I ran a couple more games, was able to win, do pretty well, and I decided, this champ's kind of cool. I'm going to dedicate some time into learning this champ. And then following these 3 games, I had, and I got promoted to Emerald. I've been bouncing between Platinum and Emerald, mostly as a result of the experiences I'm about to go into. But, basically, it was a pretty good experience learning Udyr. I used to play AP Shyvana. I find that his Empowered R, which is the one that's like the swirly, like fire electric field, is like a more reliable version of AP Shyvana. It's like a playstyle that I think is kind of cool, where I just run around and I throw these Giga Death Balls. And I had one game even where like I just threw my Empowered R at their support, and she got one shot. It was like a Karma, I think, and the Karma just got completely one shot by the Empowered R. So I think he's kind of an overpowered champion. I think he's pretty fun. I like running around on him, so I wanted to give him a try. So following these 3 games in my subsequent promotion, I got the worst 5 games that I have ever experienced. Like the deepest solo queue, loser's queue that you could ever dream of or hope for. So normally I'm not one to say I can't climb because of my teammates. And generally speaking, I expect my teammates to not perform as well as me because I perceive myself as someone that's going to climb out of this rank. I know that my teammates are not going to be make decisions that are as good as mine, especially macro decisions, because I think I'm a macro focused player. So they're going to make mistakes. And to me, that's okay. Even if we lose, if the game is competitive, I'll still have fun and I'll still be okay with the state of the game. These games were so bad that they were unplayable, whether it be from feeding, from AFKs, from just mental explosions from my teammates, just refusing to play the game. These games were not competitive. They were not playable. And look, you have to expect that if you play as a good player, you're going to win roughly 60% of your games, right? And maybe 70%. If you're a really good player, like challenger players will usually average around 70-75% in Platinum, Emerald, lower Elo, and let's explain a little bit why that is, right? So you have this pie chart. Okay, wait, let's try this again. Let's do a pie chart. This is a circle, by the way. All right. So 15% of the time, you're going to have teammates that are so bad that you cannot win, no matter how well you play. But also, 15% of the time, you should expect to have teammates that are so good that no matter how bad you play, you're going to get carried. which should mean, right? You know, and let's just write little 15%. 15%. I mean, you've experienced this where, like, you know, you have a bad game or whatever it is, and you don't play that well, but you still win. It happens. You should expect it to happen 15% of the time, because on the other side of the coin, 15% of the time, your teammates are so bad that you literally have no control, which leaves the remaining 70%. You would expect these games to be under your control, which means that if you play super well, you get objectives, you make big plays, you're taking turrets, whatever it is, you're making game-changing maneuvers, you will win. And if you feed, if you run it down, your teammates are decent, but they're not good enough to carry you, and they just need that little extra oomph. They needed you as that 20% of the team to push them into victory. So this is kind of how I think of the game, and I think, you know, these percentages are arbitrary, they're all over the place, but there is a certain expected value of unwinnable games, expected value of unlosable games, and an expected value where what you do has control. And basically, any game in this percentage, and I'll use a different color here, but any game in this percentage, you will not be mad, because you have a positive result, or if you lose, you can look at the game and be like, look, I could have played better, I could have done something better. None of this is going to make you mad. What I was experiencing was 5 games in a row of that 15%. And I just want to say, like, look, I'm someone that operates off of proof, and we're talking about, does Losers Queue exist? Yes or no? The odds that you have an occurrence of 15%, right? So going back to the chart, this is a 15% occurrence that a game is so bad that you can't win. 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the percentage chance that you get this outcome in a row. 5 games in a row. So what is the expected value where you get these games that are bad, that are out of your control? That expected value would be 0.007%. That you get 5 in a row. So let me ask you, we're faced with 2 scenarios. Okay? So let's think about, what is the percentage chance that Losers Queue is not real? Well, from this scenario, we have it right here. It is 0.007% chance. So what we're saying is that if Losers Queue is not real, we went down this path, you know, all the way down, and we just happened to, this just happens to be the outcome because it's statistically possible, but this is not an analysis of what is possible, but what is more likely. I mean, I could be reductive, and I could say that it's 50% chance because it either is or it isn't. You know, they made the business decision that they did their own analysis that, you know, if we keep people perpetually at a certain rank, like let's say Platinum 1 to Emerald 4, you know, if we keep people in that ranked range, they'll play more League of Legends because they will constantly be trying to climb. Whereas if we actually let it be a fair system, then, you know, people will play less because they're going to hit their target ranked very quickly or whatever it is. I could say that it's a 50% chance, but at the end of the day, we don't know what this probability is. But I would say that this probability is almost certainly greater than this probability. 0.007% chance. You know, Losers Queue does exist. But then the real point of this video was supposed to be, what do I do if I'm in loser's queue? I think the answer is that you shift the reason for playing your game. If you make your goal of queuing up for a game of League of Legends, I want to win this game, many times you are going to be disappointed. If you're a really good player and you have a 60% win rate, you're going to be disappointed 40% of the time and you're going to get tilted. If instead you approach the game thinking, I don't care if I win or lose, and when I was in the middle of this, I was playing, and I think this is the game I really turned around my mindset. I was playing and thinking, I expect to lose. I know I'm going to lose. Because after so many games in a row of having like the worst teammates you could ever imagine, I just shifted my mindset towards, I expect to lose. I know I'm going to lose this game, but my metric is not, I'm not playing this game to win. I am playing this game to improve as a player, to have fun with Udyr's overpowered ultimate ability. And I'm playing this game just to have fun and improve and learn this champion. So now my possibility of failure becomes 0. Because no matter what happens in this game, whether I perform, whether I don't perform, I have set the specific goal of I want to improve. In each game I entered, I would approach it thinking, I want to do X thing. So like, for example, in this game, I approached it and I thought, I just want to die as little as possible. And I ended the game with 1 death. Or on this game, I may have had the thought of, I want to get as much CS per minute as possible, and I get my CS per minute, and I think, oh, that's pretty good. But basically, if you make your happiness dependent on whether you win or lose, a lot of it is going to be out of your control, and you're going to get mad a lot of the time because, this is the expected value chart, but as we've seen, like, that's not reality. Sometimes you're going to have loss streaks, and sometimes it's not going to be your fault. But at the end of the day, you play League of Legends for a reason. I know I do, and the reason is I enjoy the strategy element. I enjoy that chess match with the opposing jungler, and I love this game. I think it has a lot of flaws, namely loser's queue existing. I think this is horrible. It is horrible. I think the best example I can give is like chess.com. It is 1 versus 1. You either win or you lose. There's no winner's queue. There's no loser's queue. If you win, you get +8. If you lose, you get -8. And that's how it should be. League of Legends has a lot of issues with, negative LP gains, with loser's queue, with, if you're toxic, then they'll pair you with toxic teammates. It has a lot of weird stuff like that. And I think that's horrible. I think they are crutching on their hidden MMR system. And I think it's just horrible for competitive experience where, like, it makes top level League players, the optimal strategy is, like, if you had an experience like this, you would switch accounts. If you have, like, these top challenger players, they have 2 or 3 accounts and they get 1 loss and they just switch because they know that it might be loser's queue now because I lost and you need to just have a cooldown. It's very interesting. I think it's bad for the game, but, as just a humble player of the game, I think, I'm shifting my mindset going forward and playing today of I'm not trying to win. I expect to lose. But instead, I'm playing to just get better as a player. And I'm not going to get mad unless I play poorly or I do something that is not even like a good play or smart play if I'm playing on autopilot. Like, that sort of thing should upset me. It should be an individual measure of whether or not I'm having fun and not based off of these arbitrary wins and losses because, it is what it is. And I just have to hope that having that mindset, I will continue to climb. But that's it. I just wanted to talk a little bit about. Um, I lost my train of thought, but yeah, that's it. I just wanted to talk a little bit about Losers Queue and my experiences with it and my mindset going forward, and just, but I do also want to say Udyr's a cool champion. He's super fun. I'm having a lot of fun playing him. But yeah, hopefully I get out of this drought pretty soon. But anyways, that's all I had to talk about. But hope you have a great rest of your day. See ya.